Last time on gender tier list. A gender. F tier. Male. D tier. Female. D tier. Cat gender. S tier. And now our story continues. We got beat back last time. We tried really hard, and we failed. We got like maybe 15% through. This time, I have a different strategy. Well, first of all, I know what's going where. The more precise and extreme the gender is, the higher the rank. That's the framework. So, going forward with this knowledge further, I think we should be able to go a little bit quicker. The other thing that I've been thinking about is I know more about the gender archetypes. I know about metagender. I know about neurogender. I know about all the genders. Gender fluidity. I know all about it now. And so I think we have heuristics in place so that we can do a lot more sorting quicker. That's the idea, at least. Got a couple hours of battery. We're going to swing as hard as we can. Hopefully we'll get them all done, but there may have to be a part 3. But we're gonna do our best in these couple hours that we have. Okay? Let me just check in on the chat. Okay, wonderful. Good. All right, let's go. This one goes first. Boy.png. Okay, so now you may remember that we ranked boy gender last time, but I would be very curious to just what is boy? Boy plus? Is that? That's it, the boy plus flag. Okay. When one identifies completely as a boy, plus additional genders. One doesn't feel partially a boy, and one isn't fluid. One is entirely a boy, plus more. One may not know specifically what the additional gender/genders are, so boy plus may be the best way to describe it. Or one may have a lot of genders, but they feel like, okay, you know what, I get the gist. This is going as a C-, around the same level as boy. I mean, it's boy plus. Well, it's good. It's boy plus. It maybe a high, maybe a low B in that case, because it has more genders. But the thing is, it's not specific. The specificity is what we need. So because it's not as specific as it could be, I'm putting it near boy in terms of genders. All right, this one seems to be a bunch of blocks stacked on top of each other. I'm not even going to try to guess. Brick Hill gender. Okay. Brick Hill. There it is. Not only do we have Brick Hill gender, but we have Brick Hill romantic. When one's gender is built in layers, each layer being strong and sturdy. These layers could be multiple xenogenders, non-binary genders, etc. It's up to interpretation. Interesting. So I would really need an example for that one. But I think I get the general idea. I'm imagining a framework built on top of a framework. For example, you could have a broader meta framework for your philosophy about the world and the universe in general. And then on top of that framework, you build your political framework. And it stems out of your broader philosophical framework. But it's coherent just as a political identity in and of itself. So again, it's a little too vague. That's my problem. It's a little too vague. And because of that vagueness, it takes a hit. It's interesting in the layering systems, and It implies that there's xenogender involved, there's non-binary gender involved, etc. But I don't think it's specific enough to really warrant a great score. But it's broad enough so that it's hitting enough things. I'm gonna give it like a C. I'm gonna put it with these ones over here. Actually, well, no, it should be probably above that. I'll give it a high C. High C. All right, this one. Burnson. Nope. Not the face I wanted to see. Bo Burnham. My arch rival. I remember when I was but a boy, and I made a joke, and someone said, "Oh, that's a very Bo Burnham-esque joke." I remember. And now he's got a gender. Well, isn't that just peachy? Well, you know what, Bo? I've got a gender too. Anyway, got a little distracted. The desire to destroy everybody similar to you is the same desire of differentiation and individuation of the ego that makes you a market force. It's like someone's opened up a pizza shop right next door to your pizza shop. You know, you never want that to happen, and so you have to hire a guy to burn the pizza shop down, and that's why I am arson gender. I keep getting distracted. Already, you know, we go in with high hopes, and yet the list has hands. So burn sin. Cenarian. Okay, so it seems to be a cinnamon gender. I'll show you what I'm reading. I don't mind. Cenarian is a choice in nature gender, where one chooses a gender, and while being it, they burn it to a crisp, so they need a new gender. They can't actually use the same gender again, and hop around from gender to gender, burning them up. Cenarian is a pun on sin and cinnamon, what's used to make fireballs / hot candy. Okay, I don't know what a choice in nature gender is. Let's figure that out. Okay, so I can only find this in some easy gender wiki, which I've never heard of before. Okay. I click choice in nature and it just redirects me. It redirects me to the same page. It's fine. Umbrella term. Okay, so sin gender or gender choice, an umbrella term for all genders which are choice in nature, CINN. It includes both genders that one chooses to have and genders that are characterized by choosing genders. Gender isn't a choice for everyone. Okay, so this is one of those metagenders that refers to choosing genders. So it's a choice gender where one chooses a gender, and while being it, they burn it to a crisp, so they need a new gender. That's actually interesting. So the idea is you get a gender, and then you destroy it, and then you must find another gender. And so these people, they're like almost like the succubi of gender. They find the gender, they devour its essence, or they destroy it or something. And I think that's why they were mentioning vampire gender. Let's so it can also be used as a gender on its own and can be added to a gender that one chooses to have. For example, vampire choice, where one chooses to be vampire gender. All right. You know, I think it would be cool if vampire gender was like you have to keep going from gender to gender every night, destroying it, sucking it dry. And then once you are one gender once, you can never be that gender again. Like for that day, for like you have to, you're one gender a day for the rest of your life. And like, you know what? If your last gender is dream gender, is dream gender on the list? Okay, let's rank this. I think that's a fascinating concept, so I'm going to give it a B. Dream gender. I'm being a little harsher with my ratings now that I have a better framework for what goes where. Dream gender. I'm pretty sure this is on the list. Let me just do a quick search here. I always regret doing this because there's so much stuff. You know what? I recognize this. This is another Jew gender. Okay. I am going to save some time here and assume that this Jew gender here is just the opposite version of, or I guess the inverse of this one, which I've already forgotten the name of. So I'm going to put this one here. Just knock that out. And then I guess this is this is like a cornerstone, trans, just the trans flag. Where do we put that? I think it's a C. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a C. Because again, it's a little broad. It's not the trans man flag. It's not the trans woman flag. A set of all sets must include itself, right? Zodiac gender, choosing your gender. Wait, hold on. We are all drag gender. Why is trans C? So the thing is, non-binary, I think we are going to posit as being above trans. Or gender fluid or something that works between. But I think the way that we're interpreting trans here is it's just male to female. And let me look this up. I'll double check the canon. Okay, so it's really just anyone whose gender identity doesn't correspond with their assigned gender at birth. So that's such a broad term that how do we even, because when we're looking at all of this, it's too broad. It's too broad. The white stripe is for the non-binaries, right? Is that's the case, right? I thought, call me crazy, but I thought it was blue for the men protecting the homeland, pink for the women at home taking care of the children, and white for the purity of the white race. Yeah, I don't know. I had no outs from that one. Boom. Butch gender. Okay, see, I like specificity and extreme. Specificity and extreme. Butch gender. Refers to the feeling that one's gender identity is tied to one being butch. I didn't really have to look that one up. I think I might have to do some more heuristics and be like, okay, I know what butch is. Bam. So, we're going to put this one maybe female. Maybe like, because being butch doesn't entail, it just means that you're like a masculine woman, right? Butch has been historically been used as gender identity on its own by those who have complicated relationships with gender or womanhood being butch. It's like you're a couple of steps outside of womanhood, but you're still too constrained within the idea of womanhood, I think. So just to double check that this is actually the butch one. Yep. I think it's another C minus. It's a C minus. Okay, this one is fascinating. Cade label. Cade label? Okay, so there's Cade section. Whatever. I turned monetization off this one. It really doesn't matter. A Cade sexual is an orientation on the asexual spectrum, defined as someone who feels that they were allosexual at one point, but that it has been taken or cut away from them due to past trauma. Okay. See, this is hard because on one hand, it's an asexual gender, which we don't like. That's like an F tier. But the trauma aspect is like, it's almost like, it reminds me of the PTSD gender. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but yeah, it reminds me a lot of that PTSD neurogender. Okay, again, this is the same thing. Like trauma survivors are those with PTSD. It's a micro label. So saying that one is Cade sexual is also, it is implied that one is also asexual. So it's basically you are asexual because trauma has taken away your sexuality. Dark. That's dark. So and it seems like it's being like eaten away. The positive sexuality has been like devoured. I think the only thing worse than being this gender would be being put in F tier irreverently. That would be pretty rough. Here's the thing. It's an agender. I mean, but the thing is, this is like the radical centrism of trash tier ideologies. It's hard for me to put it in F because it's got so much going for it, you know? D. It's a D. It's a low D. Calico gender. Describing a fluffy, silly, mysterious gender, not related to cat gender in any way. The term calico is used because calico gender is wacky and cute. It can be connected to femininity depending on the user, as calico cats are mostly female. Okay, so strong female vibes, fluffy, silly, mysterious. I think I'm going to put that one in. Yeah, I agree with what I'm seeing in chat, like easy C tier. It's interesting because it's a xenogender, but it's a little too broad and a little too connected to femininity. So let's keep going. This is the gazebo gender, carousal gender. You know, we tried to figure this one out, and we couldn't figure it out. So if anybody knows, not related to cat gender, thanks for clearing that up. Exactly. Drag loving the LEDs, but let the children out of your basement. All right, they're out. I'll let them out. They're free now, thanks to you. Cast gender. One of you figure out what carousal gender is, okay? Please. Cast gender. A gender identity in which one feels that their gender is unimportant or one is indifferent to the idea of gender. Cast gender is different from a lack of gender, as a cast gender individual might have a gender but not feel that it's an important part of their identity. Okay. Sorry, buddy. Centigender. A xenogender and subset of bug gender where one feels a strong connection towards centipedes. An alternate meaning is where one feels that their gender is always running away and they can't tell what it is or they are afraid of it. Not masculine or feminine, but if one does feel a strong connection to either, then they can use the label centiboy or centigirl. That's powerful. This is powerful stuff. It's definitely around here. It might be. I mean, if cat gender is S tier, it's got to be like, I think it has to be better than it. I mean, it's like better than cat gender. So I think I got to put it there. I think we could do a reevaluation later. Okay, centrigender. This better not be what I think it is. Centrigender. Nah, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. If this has anything to do with centrism, I may stop the stream. Oh, okay. Still bad. I've read one sentence and I want to put it, you know what? Sorry, I have a little bit of PTSD. I'm something of a PTSD survivor. Z. Ugh. It's acting up. People forget I have every mental illness. But my PTSD, the way that I got my PTSD, it was specifically related to centrism as an ideology. As soon as I realized that it existed. Z. Oh, sorry, Z. Sorry. Chicken nugget. Gender. Okay. Uh-huh. And there it is. It's a gastrogender that relates to chicken nuggets. This relation may be through flavor, aesthetic, shape, or any other medium. Now we're going to learn what gastrogenders are. You know what? I already know what they are. They're gender related to food. So like, okay, the term gastrogender was coined by a troll. However, the term has been widely and fully reclaimed in recent years, leaving its origins to be left in the past. Let's pause at this moment, at this paragraph right here, okay? Think about this. This is the perfect example of accelerationism in action. And what that means is any process that you can try to fight will subsume your fighting against it and incorporate that fighting into the system. So your resistance to whatever you're trying to resist will simply make the thing you're trying to resist go faster, right? And this happens with a bunch of different things. Post-irony, correct. Post-irony is essentially a reclamation of the attempt to destroy. Irony is a corrosive force. You take out your gun and you go, bang. Post-irony is just, yum. You cannot stop the process. You can lean into it. You can lean away from it. but you cannot stop the process. Anyway, the point is, I think you should pick like 30 of these and try to like combine them in a unique way. Put it on TikTok. That is the way forward, kids. Chicken nugget gender is a gastrogender that relates to chicken nuggets. This relation may be through flavor, aesthetic, shape, or any other medium. That's powerful stuff. I'm not going to lie. I think that's an S. I mean, it's so bold in what it is. I will put an S plus tier or like an SS tier. I'm not going to necessarily put anything there yet because I don't know if there is something that's just so far above everything else, we'll put it there. But the fact that, I mean, there's so much going on. Like the fact that I know the backstory now between the chicken nugget gender, it just makes it better to me. So. Cisgender. Cisgender. So it's like, I guess that's like a cisgender. I'll put it like slightly below. Is it really is it an F or is it a Z? Cisgender. Cis is F tier? Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, I think this one's pretty clearly an F. Scissant flag design. Kizant? Scissant. Oh, it's like cis, but scissant. These gender people, I tell you. They've got jokes for days. Okay, hold on. I should stop using this gender. The easy gender wiki, I gotta say, not very good. Okay, cisgenderant, non-cisgender, or cis-dissident is an umbrella term for anyone who is not cisgender. It's not exclusive to transgender individuals, as not all non-cis individuals identify as trans. So, if we are to imagine a spectrum here, we have cis, trans, and then cisant, which is just not cis, which is, it's almost like acis. 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 No cissident? Yeah, cissident. Oh, that's much better than any of these. Cissident. That's good. That's good. Feels pretty centrist. It's going to be between like male, female, cisgender, and transgender, which means it's going to be either D or C minus. I'll give it like a D. I think a D is probably appropriate. Maybe C minus. Yeah, I think it's like it's a C minus, but it's like a weak C minus. Color bar gender. Color bar gender, also known as test card gender, is a label for those who feel the need to calibrate or reassess and possibly change their gender identity, essentially testing their identities to make sure they are accurate. It can be described as self-doubt, the gender. This, it's loose, it's weak for sure. It's not a great gender. And it strikes me as the centrist, sort of dipping his toe into different political streams, Think about this one. Think about that one. It's boring. Yeah. D. Mm. The thing is, it's got something going for it in that it's moving outside of the norm, but it's not really changing any minds. I don't think. Not really blowing any brains. Commie gender. Drag and its consequences. Okay, I see nothing there. You ever just look back on what you've done, on the things you've created? With a strange mix of satisfaction and revulsion. I think this is it. It's an association with communism as a gender. Red is for communism. Coral is for drunk blush from vodka. White is Russian snow. Not exactly communism as an idea. It's very Stalinist. This should be the Stalinism gender, based off what I see here at least. We will seize the means of capitalistic gender production. You're going to seize the means of capitalistic gender production. By making commie gender another niche. As a force, you could view capitalism as sort of a bat that smashes and decentralizes monoliths, like you have male and female, right? Capitalism is a force that goes diversification, more niches, more places for the tendrils to worm into. But the real thing that we have to be focusing on here is commie gender embodies communism and systemic destruction. So I'm not exactly sure what they're going for. Commie girl, commie boy. If your gender is the embodiment of communist theory, but also feeling feminine or partly masculine. Okay. So I like this one better than this one, because this one is very focused on Russia. Too concrete. I mean, concreteness is good, but it's almost like missing potential of what commie gender could be. This commie gender embodies communism, systemic destruction. Your gender is theory. Your gender is theory. It's communist theory. That's my gender. And there are book genders, right? I think so. This is a pretty extreme one. Like this is definitely good. It's good. Drag and its consequences have been a catastrophe. For you guys, good for me. All right. I also think big missed opportunity, just not putting the communist flag on there. Anarchy, the leftist unity. You're a visionary. Your regimes are quite scary. Jesus. All right. Confuse gender. Like 50% of the new audience is like, what's going on? This is strange. I thought this was the mental illness guy. Confuse gender. Confugender is a micro label for gender flux or gender fluid individuals that know they are fluid or fluctuate between genders, but don't know what gender they are at a certain time, or have an idea of what they are, but constantly self-doubt to the point that they don't know anymore. Schrodinger's gender. No one knows what it is until you open a box with me in it. Okay. Pretty easy, honestly. I hate to just smash this into F tier so quickly, but I gotta. All right. Next one. Contagender. We're definitely making better time because we know what we're doing now. Gender, which flows through space and time, constantly changing, always moving. Gender can be used by itself or alongside another gender. For example, contagender, agender, or contagender Gemini girl. Okay, so very, very fluid, very flexible. I'm getting gender fluid vibes, but it's like it's flowing through space and time, so it's almost like it's more ethereal, it's more, I don't know, something. And the fact that it's tied to space is good. Put this in B. Maybe like a low B. I'm also thinking to myself that AI gender needs to go down pretty significantly to C-, because changing who you are around people is kind of one of those. It's very common. So I'm going to put that one in C tier, and I'm going to put this one in C tier as well. Maybe high C-. Yeah, high C-. All right, next one. Contragender. C-O-N-T-R-A. This is actually the gender of ContraPoints. Is the state identifying as the antigender of one AGAB. For example, one who is assigned male at birth might feel that they are the opposite of male, anti-boy, but not necessarily female. Okay. I gotta reread that one. Is there a Garfield gender? I'll just do a quick. Oh. Meme gender connects to Garfield memes. Okay. Any xenogender connected to a meme. See, I think this actually is a fascinating example of post-irony. And, like, even if you mean it as a joke, it doesn't matter because it becomes subsumed into the process. And any system that's growing has that quality. And any system that grows exponentially with that kind of power is a post-ironic accelerationist. I mean, like, that's the only way of looking at it. Because you cannot destroy the system within the system. Every attempt to destroy the system within the system powers the system up. So you'd have to work somehow outside of it. And that's the core of the meme gender. I mean, you make Garfield gender trying to make a parody of the system, of what's happening, of the process, I should say. And it becomes subsumed. And it doesn't matter if it's ironic or not. The intent no longer matters. All that matters is the aesthetic, the appearance, the visual. Yeah? Okay, there you go. Right, so contragender, kind of getting like C tier vibes, C-. Control gender. Not to be confused with thought gender. Control gender is where one is fully in control of their gender, and when focused on, they can make it anything they want. That's powerful. When they're not controlling it, it can be anything. Okay, broad. And then there's all these subsets. For example, if you're a demi-control gender, where one can control their gender sometimes, when they aren't, their gender is fluid. Control girl, where one can make their gender feminine in nature. One only make their gender feminine. Okay. So this is an interesting one. It implies that you're coming from a place of either fluidity or agenderness, but you can hop in and out of genders, which is fascinating. Is my receiver already going to die? I fought the law, and the law won. I might have to do a round 3. You know what? I can't let it leave like this. No. I can't let it end like this. I'll be back. You just watch.